Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope that you guys have had a good week. Today, we are going to be doing lesson 4 of our new reading unit of myth making. If you have not already, you should have your binders, you should have your gifts from the Gods book, you should be sitting with your reading group next to your reading partner. If you are not already transitioned like this, pause the video and do so now, please. All right. For today, our focusing question is, what are myths and why do people create them? Our content framing question, what does a deeper exploration of myths reveal about the beliefs of ancient Greeks? And objective, repeat after me. I can summarize the myth of victory, including its theme and how it connects to the modern world. So that is what you should be doing by the end of today's lesson. So today we are going to read Victory together in our books, Gifts from the Gods. It has a picture of Zeus on the front. It has the blue cover. Go ahead and turn to page 79 in your book and track along as I read. So you should all be turning to page 79. All right, we are going to start with our definition of victory. Victory, defeat of an enemy or opponent, triumph. He really didn't see the problem. He was accustomed to victory after victory, and the idea of defeat never occurred to him. So that is a quote from John Flanagan about the battle for Scandia. Turn the page. You should now be on page 80. You're going to track along while I read. Your fingers should be on the word even up at the top of page 80. Even though the goddess Victoria was tiny, her power was immense. Victoria always accompanied Minerva, the goddess of wisdom and war, and she was so little that she could fit into Minerva's hand. Sometimes, when Minerva was on her way to a battle, she would scoop up Victoria in her hand and carry her. But most of the time, the little goddess sped along by herself, her wings beating so fast that they were nearly invisible. As soon as she reached a battleground, Victoria set to work. First, she flew to one side and listened in on the conversation of the generals and the soldiers. Then she hastened to the other side to hear their talk and reasons for war. Only when she fully understood who fought for a fair and just cause did she act. Then she quickly dove down and guided the horses and the spears of the men she championed, making sure they won. So essentially, if you were fighting for something fair, she would help you win these battles. At the top of page 81. Sometimes other gods and goddesses would become involved in war by helping their favorite heroes. They didn't care who was fighting for a just cause, so if Victoria was absent, it was impossible to be certain which side would win. Only when Victoria was present at the battle would the righteous side be sure to triumph. If Victoria was with them, the soldiers could always feel it. Their bodies grew stronger, their thinking became sharper, and their strategy improved. With her help, a small army could conquer a larger one. Upon returning from the war, the triumphant generals and warriors always offered thanksgiving and sacrifices to tiny Victoria. And so, in time, her name became synonymous with winning, and not just on the battlefield, but in every kind of competition. Turn the page to page 82. Victoria is the Roman name for the Greek goddess Nike, and Minerva is what they called the Greek goddess Athena. The Greeks loved these two goddesses so much that they named their capital Athens after Athena and placed a statue of Nike all along the city walls to ensure their triumph in every battle and contest. Alright, so we just learned about the same myth. It is a myth that was created by the Romans. However, the goddesses were the same, just different names in Greek and Roman mythology. So, for your do now, you are going to complete the read, think, and wonder chart over the story that we just read. This is on your guided notes. Remember, read means what did you read? Quote or paraphrase the text. Think, what do you think it means? And wonder, what questions do you still have? You need at least 3 things in this do now. Then you need to answer the question below your chart. It says, based on what you read, what do you think victory means? And I've provided a sentence stem for you that is also on your notes. You should not be taking a definition from the book. You should be writing your own definition of what you think victory means. You guys will have 7 minutes to complete your do now. Go. All right. With your small groups, you are now going to read the myth of victory again. However, this time you are going to be looking for evidence to answer some guiding questions that are on your notes. So if you go to your notes, you will see that there are 4 different questions for you to answer. Remember, the goal of this is that you're trying to identify the mystery that this myth explains. So what was the purpose of this myth? You guys are going to have 15 minutes to do this. Go. All right, now we have some new vocabulary words. These are also listed on your notes. Victory. Victory means success in a game or a war. If you put something different, leave it. I want to hear your definition. A creation myth is a myth that explains how something came to be. So, a story of how the earth was created. A morality myth, a myth that explains how people should behave or teaches you a lesson. Using these definitions above, do you think that this myth that we just read is a creation myth or a morality myth? How do you know? Silently answer this question on your notes. You guys are going to have 5 minutes to answer this. You also need to provide evidence from the text. Go. So while we were reading, you may have noticed a very common word. So at the very end of our story, whenever it was talking about the Greek names on page 82, it said Victoria is the Roman name for the Greek goddess Nike. Where else have we heard the word Nike before? Yeah, that's right. Like the shoe brand. Okay, so Victoria, victory, Nike. Now imagine that you work for the Nike shoe company. How would you explain to a customer where the company got its name using evidence from this myth? So what do you think Nike means? Why do you think they chose to name it that way? You guys are going to have 7 minutes to answer this question on your notes. And then once that 7 minutes is up, you're going to turn and talk to your reading partner to discuss what you wrote. You will not change your answer though. You're just going to be sharing what you think. Your time starts now. Alright guys, at the bottom of your notes you should notice that there is an exit ticket. You will now have 10 minutes to complete this exit ticket. When you are done, this entire paper should go in the reading tray so that I can grade it. And then you need to make sure that your binders and books are away so that you can transition back to your assigned seats. Remember, whenever you're taking an exit ticket, you're at a complete and level 0. If the teacher walks around and sees that you are talking, it will be an automatic 1 on your paper and it will just go in the trash. So your 10 minutes is about to begin. You need to be at a complete level 0. Good luck, guys. Go.